Welcome once again to the series CyberSec, A Way of Life, brought to you by L&D Today and powered by Archon Tech Solutions. Our leader today comes with over 3 decades of experience in India and internationally in information technology. He is known for implementing large-scale IT infrastructure projects, setting up IT processes from scratch, managing budgets of millions of dollars, to handling international procurement, to building a CRM to be used for 8,000 users, to managing transitions of technology without any downtime. His list of achievements can go on, so we have him with us in person today, where he talks to us about his successful journey and insights on a host of things. Please welcome Sameer Mistry, Head IT Infrastructure and Operations at NSE IT Limited. Thank you, Sameer, for joining us today for this interview series that we have for CyberSec, A Way of Life. So, Sameer, talking about cybersecurity, of course, after the pandemic, cybersecurity has a lot of emphasis, right? Now, if you had to give us an idea of how big the cybersecurity industry was before COVID and now almost after COVID.
So recently I was reading one article on the cybersecurity and what is the way forward. In 2019, it was somewhere around about $140-150 billion.
Okay.
This is I'm talking about India. And today we in 2021 is more than $225-250 billion. Okay, because of this pandemic has given so much of boost to the industry. Like every industry who has faced, required for the remote work, information security, so they need this kind of, standards which we need to put in, the controls which we need to put in, and the demand has surged up drastically. So pandemic for this particular industry is maybe it is like a boon to it instead of maybe definitely other industries have been suffered, but yes, information security is drastically gone up.
True, and of course remote working has become a norm now, right?
Yes.
So from a security perspective, how easy or difficult was it for your organization to provide access to people?
Yes, it was very challenging because I remember those mid of March, everybody was like want to close down, and there was a lot of panic around. No company was sure of what is lying.
Yeah, what's next? Nobody knew.
Right?
True.
And we had only 3 days in our hand to ensure that everybody is can work from home. And within those 3 days, we had to ensure we put in that kind of infrastructure in the system there, and give them the computing power to work from home, and ensuring that our assets, our information has been secured enough. So we had 3 days time. Definitely, we achieved that. But yes, parallelly we had to, our thought process was continuing every day that how do I protect it? What are the controls which I can put in? Initially we had thought it was a 2 weeks of lockdown, and come month of April, mid-April, we'll start again and come back to normal. So that did not happen. Another 15 days, that did not happen, and continuously it was like extending, and we don't know where things are going to end there. So we had only choice that people put in that kind of effort that we control all the information which has been going out. So it was a tremendous task. It was a difficult task because we were not in office. Our engineers were not in office. Everybody is working from home, and it was a great learning. And how you protect your informations. There were a lot of learnings in terms of, in a normal day-to-day life, we would have possibly not thought about it.
Yes.
Okay, but today that pandemic has taught us so many things, that how you look at your information security has changed by 180 degree.
True.
Like today, you have to look every aspect of your computing, your storage, your access, every area you have to look into. right? How do you protect it? What controls you put in? Okay. Earlier we had an we are at home, we are in office, so we know something is going wrong, right? But once it is a pandemic, everybody is remote, even including your engineers, and we don't know who is accessing, because they have the privileged accesses. They were the first one to be protected and to be monitored.
Right, absolutely. True. Now, with so much happening in the last 1.5, 2 years, what do you think is the future of cybersecurity?
Cybersecurity is going to be a way of life. It's going to be the very integral part of every business, even including in your personal life. May it be a business, may it be a professional, maybe it's a personal life. Okay, everywhere it's going to be, you have to look into. There are so many frauds which is happening online. There are a lot of information getting leaked. There are a lot of information which is available,
right,
which was not available earlier.
True.
So every information is a protection. May it be a personal information, may it's a business information, may it's education information, whatever. That you have to protect it in there. So cybersecurity is the never going to see a downtime there. It's not like like we can see that 2000 earlier, the bubble of .NET.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen. This is something which is continuous.
So it's not an option; it has to be a given that whatever
it is
you
given.
do.
Yeah, information security is given. Now, what will happen is that it will be go into a nitty-gritty of the specific area of security. Okay. Right. So people will become expert in particular area of information security. Rather earlier having the CISO was one had a role of limiting to a particular office, maybe in the closed environment. Today those things will happen in a public environment, and people will having a niche market for that.
True. So, Samir, what do you think are the key components to be looked at and stressed upon when any company considers a security solution for their organization?
Okay, so when you consider a security as an organization, that has to be as a core of the business. Okay, when I say core, like you do a business which is in your domain,
right?
But it cannot independently work. Your information security has to be part of it. Right. The amount of money which you are going to put in terms of R&D, development, run operations, along with that, your investment has to be there with the information security. Earlier it was like I'm running my business individually, and then maybe some compliances came in or something which happened, and I'm now putting in that in that direction, going to the information security. No.
True.
So it has to be integral part of your overall strategy, overall business goal, that my information security is from the day one it starts. Okay, so now the businesses have no option, but they have to start from the day one that information security is required. You cannot survive without that.
True. And then within that you have to see what suits you, what suits your organization,
yeah,
what doesn't.
So that something which is specific to your industry, specific to your guidelines which have been given by the government or compliances, various things. But without that, it's no long-term goal for survival.
True. So even small SMEs, they should have some level of security and not just be without any security.
No, that is there. Now it is given by de facto standard. You put in your business goals, you put in your infrastructure and your information security goals also.
Right.
It goes parallel.
It's surprising to see how information security has become is taking a center stage in all the business decisions.
Yes.
It's a key component.
For everywhere. Even if you earlier people think that the information security is mainly focused on your financial segment and banking sectors no. Today, you go in any business, in any corporate business, any industries, information security is going to play a big role into your system.
True, absolutely. And surprisingly, even after businesses experiencing, these cyber attacks, which have costed them, in dollars and millions of dollars and everything. Talking about India, cyber insurance is still at a very nascent stage. It's not got that growth yet. Do you think India is adapting to cyber insurance as well now?
India is doing, yes. There are quite a few insurance company have started cyber insurance, but this lacks the controlling body.
Right.
Like
There's
for
no governing.
more the
Correct.
governing body would say, like the property or maybe a human life insurance which is there, like started in early 1800s.
Right.
Okay, today we see that every aspect of this, minutes of the key points have been covered into your policy, and you know what are you supposed to do.
Right. It's very definite.
Defined, very defined right now. Today, cyber insurance, which requires some kind of a governing body, which defines you to run the business accordingly, because which is like vast, and every business has its own way, information. Like today, information which is crucial for my business may not be crucial for your business.
Absolutely.
Right? So it is very difficult to define the standards. But yes, like over the period of time, definitely it will come. But that is one lack. The governance is lacking there, and that government needs to put in that kind of effort to make it as a standard.
Right.
Like today, SEBI, RBI is governing. IRDA is governing the insurance, the way you do business, right? So similarly, the cyber insurance has to have that kind of a standards, and that from there it will pick up.
True. Great. Now, we spoke of so much of stress is being laid upon companies should take in cybersecurity solutions, but in spite of that, cyber attackers are also at par. Whatever solutions are there, they come at par with them. What do you think organizations must do to stay ahead of such scenarios?
I would say it is a chicken and egg kind of a scenario.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
True.
So who comes first?
Yeah.
And it has to be looked at in a totality, that how you are going to protect the information. You have to understand the critical part of the business which you have, the information which is associated with that.
Right.
Okay. You have to classify your information in minutes of the segment, that what is important for you, and you start working towards it, to protecting it. Every business will have a different set of information which is crucial for it. And today, if I am holding the gamut of all the information which I have in my company or organization, is not always, everything is not crucial. So I need to identify that, and I need to protect which is very crucial for my business.
Yeah, which if gone out could have a huge impact.
Huge impact on that.
True.
So if you start looking at that terms and the classification of your information, definitely you can protect it from the attackers. Yes, but attackers are always
they're gearing up. They're constantly gearing up.
They are constantly gearing up, and it's like as I said, chicken and egg. So who comes first? It's going to be like that.
So the point is simple, that always keep your guard on. Attacks will always be there.
Always be there. Always.
But
be
you
there.
have to be.
So one thing which I have learned is that the safety has no holidays.
Yeah. Very well said, actually.
Okay. So these are the very well, these are the huge boards which have been put into the manufacturing companies, where work with the hazardous chemicals.
Right.
I had visited one of the plants which they used to make pesticides.
Right.
Okay, and every corner of this plant, you see the kind of information required to be cautious about it, because it is like all poisonous chemical which they deal with.
True.
Okay, and one of the board was that safety has no holiday, and that is true for your personal life, true for your any other things in professional, everywhere. So when you design infrastructure,
Right.
when you design your product, may it be automobile, or may it be a banking software, may it be a project management things. Everywhere the safety and security has to be there.
Has to be true. Now, Samir, zero trust security is, I think, also is one of the areas where a lot of people are laying a lot of stress on.
Yes.
Can you simplify that for us?
Okay. So this zero trust security terminology is now more prominent after this pandemic.
Absolutely.
As I told you that I need to monitor my engineer what he's doing remotely.
Right.
Okay. So when you talk about zero trust security, it is you trust no one. Okay. You trust no one in terms of who is the end user, who is going to maintain that, who is the creator of the information, who is how people are accessing your systems. Okay, you trust no one. And industry have seen that the majority of the attack which happens from the insiders.
Unfortunately, that's the truth.
Right?
True.
And because of this pandemic, that people have seen the rise in the drastical rise in the insiders threat.
Right.
Okay, because we never thought about it. We knew that when people are coming to our premises, we know that periphery has been tightened up,
right.
And we know that nothing can come in. Sure. Today, the people who are protecting the information are coming from outside, right? So I need to protect from the external part, from where it is originating from, right. Where is the person is accessing from, right? So I don't trust them. So that is what we do. Ensure that my every asset has been protected. And
but do you think this has any empathy challenges? Do you think people feel restricted because of that, or are they embracing it?
You see, yeah, while implementing such kind of controls and making things deploying it to the end user, there is a rejection. Yeah. Okay, because earlier we had so much of access. Today I can't do this, I can't do that. Correct. I cannot access this particular folder or maybe a server. But by virtue of they are accessing to remotely. Right. If their credentials have been compromised, I have a bigger risk
to handle.
True. Right? So it is not the end user; it is my the information security or maybe the IT staff.
Right.
Okay. They also have a apprehension that my things are getting restricted, but then there is the way it has to work.
True.
And that has to be adopted. That has to be communicated well in that
it's for the larger
group.
Right. It's for the organization.
So they have to understand that.
Yeah.
Even the users, like earlier, when they come to office, they should, okay, we had so much of access to this. I used to have a server access. I had this information access. Right. Now everything is gone. I can't perform. Right. So we have to go and dig down. We have to tell them that what is now is going to happen. Right. So it is education to the end users, education to our IT team, how you do that, what you are going to do.
True. Now, another question that arises is because, again, there's so much of stress on security and everything. Do you think is building a team of cybersecurity talent internally a better option, or outsourcing would be a better option?
I think so. You should have a balance of it.
Okay.
Because you can't have a master of all in your organization. Difficult to manage, difficult to take that potential out.
Right.
Okay. And the information security is evolving at such a fast pace. Even the hackers and the controls which they are put in. If you look at it, hackers, they are finding ways and means of getting control of your network, or maybe trying to sabotage your network and business. Right. Okay. So it is evolving so fast. It is not possible for the person within the organization who is a limited horizon of that business or that organization can learn so many things. So yes, you have to have a balance of it, that you have to depend, because the service provider also have a larger horizon in terms of multiple industries.
Correct.
Right. Today I'm representing one industry. I'm working with that. I have knowledge, but I have my knowledge possibly limited to that industry.
True.
But when I'm going to a service provider, maybe have a larger horizon,
Multiple-
information, these things,
True.
and the talent today, the talent to keep it, with you is
Right.
a challenge.
So a balance of both
Yes,
is
balance of that.
ideal.
It
for-
is ideal. So
Right.
you have fallback mechanism that if this is not there, I have somebody to support my business, support my requirements here.
True.
Okay, so you have to have a proper balance between them, because your service provider also may try to fool you,
Absolutely.
right? You don't
Yeah, it
know where
works
it's
both
coming
ways.
from.
True.
Okay, it's not that he knows everything, perfect,
True.
but you also have to put in that person who understands your business internally,
Right.
can map that loopholes or maybe the requirements to the best of the knowledge.
True.
So you have to have a balance.
True. Right. So now, on an ending note of this section, what do you think will be the top cybersecurity challenges in the next 1 or 2 years time frame? The key cybersecurity challenges.
One is that how you access your information. Okay, that is going to be the very crucial part. How you store the information. That is again because today you have a plethora of so much of information available. Okay, may it be a personal information, may it be a business information. How we are going to store, how we are going to protect it. Okay, so today if you look at it, I'll just go back. When in 90s, we used to talk about 640 kilobytes of a PC. How do we use that?
Right.
Okay, and today we are talking about our mobile phone has 128 GB, 256 GB of RAM, right?
True.
So the amount of information which is flowing across is very huge. Okay, and how we are going to protect that? How we are going to churn that particular information for the for your organization? That is going to be a big challenge.
Absolutely. Well, Sameer, thank you so much for giving us an idea of what cybersecurity is currently and where it is heading. I'm sure the viewers who will watch this will get to learn from this conversation that we just had. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.